Good afternoon. As we begin the ceremony today, Dalhousie would like to acknowledge that we are here today on traditional Mi'kmaq territory. Welcome to Convocation. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a day of celebration, the celebration of completions and the celebration of beginnings. As we proceed with the presentation of degrees today, we would like the ceremony to reflect that sense of celebration and not be too formal. So please feel free, show your enthusiasm, and cheer for your new graduates. Do you need to practice? And one sign at the front here. You are invited to move around the auditorium for photographs, including the front rows up to my right. But please try to be careful not to block the view of those behind you. This is your day, so go ahead, take your photos, post your selfies for friends and family. But send us your best at Twitter, #DalGrad. So I always start with mine, so you can go and check later. So don't forget, #DalGrad. And as always, Convocation is being webcast, so you can enjoy it again and again. Just go to the Dalhousie website. It is now my pleasure to introduce the President and Vice Chancellor of Dalhousie University, Dr. Richard Florazone, to give the opening remarks.
Well, thank you, Dr. Waters, and good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Dalhousie's Convocation, to your Convocation for Spring 2016. It's my pleasure to begin our festivities by introducing to you our platform party, who are here to both witness and celebrate the wonderful achievements of our graduates. I'll ask each member of the platform party to stand when your name is called and remain standing until everyone has been introduced. Our elder, Muriel Rosevier. Our Chancellor, Miss A. Ann McClellan. Miss Candace Thomas from the Dalhousie Board of Governors. Now, we have two Michelle Williams here, but this one is Miss Michelle Williams from the Dalhousie Board of Governors. We'll get to the second one shortly. Chief Justice Michael MacDonald from the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal. Dr. Carolyn Waters, our Provost and Vice President Academic. Mr. Peter Fardy, Vice President Advancement. Ms. Susan Spence-Walk, Vice Provost Planning. Mr. Stephen Hartland, Assistant Vice President, Industry Relations. Ms. Heather Sutherland, Assistant Vice President, Ancillary Services. Dr. Mike McAllister, Acting Assistant Vice President, Enrollment Management and Registrar. Dr. Kevin Hewitt, Acting Chair of Senate. Miss Donna Bourne-Tyson, University Librarian. And please give it up for your Dean, Miss Camille Cameron, Dean, Schulich School of Law. And of course, Mr. Michael DeTurbide, Associate Dean, Schulich School of Law. I hope they're not celebrating because this is the last day they'll see you. Dr. Dieter Peltzer, Associate Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies. Dr. David Mensink, Dal Faculty Association. Mr. Dylan Ryan, Vice President, Finance and Operations, DSU. And no stranger to our law students here, our convocation speaker today, Miss Michelle Williams. Could I please ask all other faculty and staff on the platform to please rise and be recognized? Ladies and gentlemen, your platform party. Thank you. Please be seated. Just before we get underway, I wanted to add a comment about our platform party. One of the wonderful features of Convocation is the colorful academic dress that you get to enjoy. So on the platform party, we wear either the robes of our office or the robes representing our last degree. So in my case, or the case of the Chancellor, I'm wearing the President's robe, and she's wearing the Chancellor's robe. I also want to mention that today I'm wearing a kente sash to specifically honor our Black students of African descent. A couple other comments that to pull out, because of course we all enjoy the color on the platform. If I could ask Professor Jonathan Shapiro to rise. You see Jonathan with that wonderful purple and baby blue of Columbia. It's almost like the Cambridge colors. And then Professor Michelle Williams, who has the LLM from NYU, a wonderful purple. And then finally, if I could ask Donna Bourne-Tyson, our university librarian, to rise. Now Donna is our head librarian, and she's actually known, she was just renewed, and she's known across the country for her leadership in library and information science. But she wears the hood for her degree in library science, but I asked her to rise because she always jokes to me that she only got the degree because the hood matches her hair so well. I know that's not true, but thank you, Donna. Thank you for indulging me. So Chancellor McClellan, members of our academic procession, parents and family members, honored guests, and most importantly, our graduates. Each of you so richly deserves to be celebrated today after so many years of hard work and study. I really look forward to shaking your hand as you walk across this stage, but let me take a moment right now to say to each of you, congratulations. Very well done. Today, you join the ranks of more than 130,000 Dal alumni around the world. Like you, they have all received a world-class education. It's an education that is second to none and that can equip you to achieve anything. Now, you've been trained to be skepticals. Does that sound like an overstatement? You've been trained to be skeptics. Because I assure you, it isn't. Now, half a century ago, a young man from Cape Breton was sitting where you are. It was 1964, and Art MacDonald had just received his bachelor's degree in physics from Dalhousie University. He would go on to complete a master's at Dal and then a PhD at Caltech, one of the world's greatest universities. But the story doesn't stop there. Art went on to become one of the world's preeminent physicists, with a career that took him from Chalk River to professorships at Princeton and at Queen's. Last fall, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his groundbreaking work on neutrinos, measuring their oscillations and their mass. It's a discovery that has fundamentally altered our understanding of the universe, and it was recognized with the highest academic honor in the world, the Nobel Prize, to a graduate of Dalhousie. Each of you has that potential within you. How will you rise up to seize it? How will you shine in the world? Dr. MacDonald pointed the way. In his Nobel acceptance speech in Stockholm, Art said this: "It has been said that behind every success there is effort. Behind the effort there is passion. And behind the passion there are people with the courage to try. Effort, passion, the courage to try. Graduates, the sun is setting on your time here at Dalhousie, but a new day awaits you, filled with promise and potential. Seize it with effort, with passion, and with courage. Rise and shine, graduates. Congratulations, and thank you.
Graduates, can you please rise? Madam Chancellor, as acting chair of the Senate of Dalhousie University, I ask you to confer degrees on those candidates whose names have been approved by Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in Dalhousie University, I admit to their respective degrees and diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto, those candidates who have fulfilled the requirements of that degree and whose names have been approved by Senate. Admito vos ad gradum.
Graduates, you may be seated.
I now call upon Ms. Camille Cameron, the Dean of the Schulich School of Law, and Mr. Michael de Turbide, the Associate Dean Academic of the Schulich School of Law, to present the candidates who are here today receiving degrees, followed by Dr. Dieter Peltzer, the Associate Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, to present those candidates who are here today receiving higher degrees.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirement for the degree of Juris Doctor. Kalisa Archibald. Roy Gordon Argand. Jordan Daniel Armstrong. Karen Jane Ash. Neil Leighton Burrs. Shane Robert Belbin. Pierre-Luc Bergeron. Thomas Patrick Blackburn. Michael J. Bourgeois. Elizabeth Marie Braheinitz. Jacob Mohandas Brown. Mary Huguette Brown. Mary Frances Burnett. Edgar Joseph Burns. Brett Michael Carlson. Jared Michael Cedar. Anna Britt Nicole Chisholm. Jesse Chisholm. Michelle Cicchino. Robert Raymond Corbet. Erin Catherine Creighton. Congratulations again. Jennifer Dawn Crew. Kelsey Croft. Sarah Emily Charlotte Sear. Justine Ann Dalton. Duncan Darcy. Naveed Degani. Julian Paul Joseph Dickinson. Danielle Marie DePardo. Peter Guildford Duke. Andrea Danielle Silva Fernandez. Oh, you got him to come up with you. Terrio Francis. Rachel Sarah Fridhandler.
Where's your father?
Mitchell Wade Gallant. Ravina Kaur Gill. Melanie Brianne Gillis. Elizabeth Patricia Grace Glasbergen. Scott Antonio Gorski. Margaret Burnham Gould. Alexander Ryan Grant. I liked your note, by the way. It was very good. It was really good. Michael Drew Hampton. Andrea Hancock. Let you graduate, that's good. Jennifer Ellen Hand. Ripon Hands. Kirby Hayes. William Ryan Hill. John Hillman. Justin Paul Hiscock. Peyton J. Hollis. Jasmine Hudson. Jasmine Hudson. Lauren Margaret Humphreys. Stephen Joseph Jamil. Tyler Sutherland James. Nicholas Quinn Jaspers. Andrew Leonard John. Megan Colleen Johnston. Jennifer Viraf Kapadia. Andrew Kemp. Carly Knoll. Peter Gillis L'Esperance. Xian Lang. Adrian Joseph Lake. Simon Alexander Lake. Andre Michel Landry. Brittany Claire Larson. David A. Lemessurier. James Ross Alexander Leslie. Russell Linson. Lindsay Dawn Logie. Good name for her. Jane Lawyer. Jillian Ruth Lush. Megan Laura McKenzie. Stephen Wendell McLean. Isher Madder. Graham Kenneth Maitland. Jonathan Mark Marchand. That's why you couldn't drum for Michael William MacDonald. Sarah Elizabeth MacDonald. Lindsay Teresa Marie McNamara. Killian D.P. McParland. Gregory Melchin. Timothy Edwin Leach Menz. Lauren Mills Taylor. Hello there. Congratulations. Stephanie Avison Minor. Nicholas Joseph Paul Moore. Caitlin Leon Murnette Morton. Simone Raquel Mulcahy. Edward Joseph Murphy. Lauren Catherine Murphy. Lisa Myers.
Shift change. Emma Joan Nanens. Adam Nickerson. Joseph Paul Neefer. McFarland Chibesi Najah. Adam Douglas Thomas Norton. Hannah Dawn O'Connell. Benjamin Ojalik. Sheena Louise O'Reilly. Peter David Osmond. Taylor Robert Frederick Overing. Jennifer Joanne Parker. Trisha Dawn Eva Parker. Benjamin Robert Pearson. Catherine Cecily Pichet. Seth Kenneth Pickard Tatry. Matthew Edward Pike. Nicholas Victor Pimentel. Madam Chancellor, you may be seeing double here. Salvatore Alfie Pimentel. Kyle Bernard Power. Liam Randawa. Wade Michael Ritchie. Struan Thomas Robertson. Mary Constance Waters Rodriguez. Maria M. Sanderson. Emily Claire Savage. Joanna Elizabeth Shep. Aaron Schwartz. Agri Semi. Haley Elizabeth Smith. Derek Laurie Sonicson. Billy Sparks. Maren Allison Steves. Rebecca Lee Stiles. Chrisanne Marie Stout. Ashley Joan Marie Target. Brett William Taylor. Cassandra Pauline Taylor. Jennifer Taryn. Erin Louise Wagner. Sarah Anitza Walsh. Lindsay Jane Wareham. Jamie Lynn Watson. Patrick John Weefer. Alexander Thomas Wells. Adam Weria. Alex Whalen. Sherry Marie Wheeler. Leslie Ann Whitaker. And last but not least, Stephen Reed Wintermute. Madam Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of candidates who are here today to receive the Juris Doctor degree.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates who have fulfilled all the requirements for a degree Master of Laws. Petrus Leonardus de Bruyne. Andrew Donald Talon. Kenneth Sunday Ugwokpe. Madam Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of candidates who are here today to receive the master's degree.
It is now my pleasure to call upon Mr. Michael de Turbide to announce the recipient of the University Medal in Law.
Madam Chancellor, it's my pleasure to announce the recipient of the 2016 University Medal in Law. The medal is awarded to the graduating student who's achieved the highest cumulative average over the 3 years of the JD program. The recipient is chosen from amongst those attaining a first-class distinction in third year and must have achieved a very high standard of excellence. This year's recipient, Emily Hansen, graduates with a cumulative average of A+ over her 3 years. Emily is from North Vancouver, British Columbia, and received her BA in History at UBC. Unfortunately, Emily is unable to be here at Convocation today, principally because, along with soon beginning a judicial clerkship at the BC Court of Appeal, she's getting married. And so I guess some things even trump law convocations. But Emily has asked me to thank her friends, colleagues, and professors for the nurturing she received here at the Schulich School of Law. So please join me in congratulating Emily for her outstanding achievement.
It is now my very great pleasure to call upon Jennifer Ellen Hand to deliver the valedictory address.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Before I begin, I too would like to say that today's ceremony is taking place on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Most people in law school met me first behind the lens of my camera, so I'm going to take a moment and just take a class photo, if everybody could just hold tight for it. I would also like to say I'm a little sad I'm behind this podium and not the other one, because I'm actually wearing my grandmother's shoes today, and she has far cooler shoes than me, so I just wanted everyone to take a minute to admire them, if you don't mind. Well, team, it looks like we've arrived. We're here at the end of this, and it's sort of surreal to believe it, because sometimes it feels like just yesterday we showed up soaking wet on our first day of school. Much like today, actually, so our friends and family get to know a little bit more about how we felt that first day. And of course, we showed up soaking wet, and they took our photo. And that photo is probably going to haunt us for a really long time. I just want to say welcome to everybody here and congratulations. Thank you to the staff, our special guests, our honored guests who are here today. Welcome to the family and friends, and congratulations on seeing your loved one through this program, because we know it's not easy to give us the support that we need sometimes. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge those people that couldn't be here with us today, those people that meant a lot to us and played a big part in our success. So just take a moment to remember those people in your heart. And lastly, to my fellow graduates, welcome back to Halifax if you've been gone, and congratulations to you guys. And I also just want to say thank you to Domus, to Stephanie, to Lauren, to Jennifer on the grad committee, and to the school for organizing this beautiful weekend. It's been a lot of fun, and I know a lot of hard work goes into it, so thank you to you guys. I really appreciate it. I am truly honored to be standing here today. It's such a pleasure and a privilege and an honor to be speaking on behalf of this brilliant, good-looking, funny, talented, drinking champion, just an incredible cast of characters. It's a little funny for me and my family, because for a little while there, we didn't think that I would get into Dal Law. And that was largely because I didn't show up for my interview. I just got the date completely wrong, and got a call from someone at the school saying, is Dal Law calling? Are you showing up today? To which I said, yes, of course, I'm right on the way. And luckily, Diana Ginn and Michael Hadskis stayed late on a Friday afternoon to interview me. And needless to say, that interview went well, but it was tense for a minute. I was reflecting on some of the things that this program and this school and this city have taught us. We learned that legal humor can actually be quite funny, at least to us, in any case. We learned how to function on very little sleep and much caffeine. We learned to expand our minds and admit our faults. We learned which events to attend based solely on the food and the catering provided. We learned that our truth wasn't always necessarily the truth, and sometimes we had to stand up for what we believed in. We learned that more often than not, the first draft of anything was total garbage. We learned that the central heating in the building makes room 105 cold constantly, and that it's pronounced gloob and not the gloob. We learned that sometimes our mind can be our own worst enemy. And we learned that Thursday night is the real start to the weekend. Thanks for that, Domus. And for most of us, we learned to push ourselves to the limit. And sometimes we even got pushed a little too far. And in those moments of struggle and doubt, we learned the true meaning of real friendship. We learned what failure feels like, and we learned that C's really do get degrees. Thanks for nothing, constitutional law. Big C. And while a lot of times it felt like the world was just on fire, we could only sit there and just watch it burn, we learned that whatever blocks our way, there's a way through it, a way around it, or a way above it. And I mean, with LexisNexis and Westlaw at our side, how can we possibly go wrong? I was also thinking about the best way to describe our time here together as a family, as a community, and as a class. And if you'll bear with me in this metaphor, it might take a minute. The one thing that came to mind was when I was a kid and I was in a band or an orchestra. And there was a technique there, and it was called stagger breathing. And when an orchestra and an ensemble had to hold a note for an impossibly long time, people would have to breathe at different intervals so that the note would be held and it would sound complete all the way through. And I think what we were doing for these past 3 years was holding that note and breathing when we needed to and holding it when we could. And that's what a community is. You take what you can and you give back what you can. And I think that our song has been really beautiful over these past few years. I don't have much wisdom to offer you, unfortunately, other than the one thing that I've tried to do and the one thing I appreciate the most when people give it back to me. And that is to be kind and to listen to people. Strive and achieve, but remember how important these people were to you at this time in your life. Because I don't think we'll remember what they taught us in torts 2, but I think we'll remember who we sat with and who we Facebook messaged the whole way through class. And we'll remember who shared their notes with us, and we'll remember who took us home that one night, or maybe 2 nights we had too much to drink. And we'll remember who cracked the best jokes, and we'll remember who asked too many questions in class. And we'll remember who was there when things got tough, because they got tough. And some days they got so bad we weren't sure what tomorrow would look like. But we'll remember the people who stood by us and stood with us and stood up for us when we couldn't do that for ourselves. And I don't have the words to express the gratitude that I have, for the people who have supported me and propped me up and carried me through this degree. But we really did it. We're done. And we did it together. And whether law school was on your bucket list or something you did because you could, just remember that you finished it and you did it well, and it was a huge accomplishment. So give yourself some credit today at some point for the amount of work that you've done and how hard that you've worked. I'm almost done, you guys. I don't have to tell you that our futures are uncertain. But I'm choosing to be excited about that. This degree and this part of our lives is over. That's true. It's never going to be like this again. But it wasn't like this before we got here, and it's been pretty good. And I'm just excited to imagine what awaits us next. And now that we can think like lawyers, I'd like to think that we're better equipped to see the world for what it is, for all the beautiful things it has to offer, and for what it needs to improve upon. Whatever you do, don't forget that. Don't doubt yourself. Don't ignore your instincts. Speak up when you can and know who you're speaking for. I believe this is where Elle Woods would say, "Congratulations, class of 2016. We did it!" I cannot wait to see what the future holds for us, for each and every one of you. And as we say back home in Newfoundland, may the winds always blow in your back, which basically means good luck on your way, and I wish you well. Thank you. I love you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jennifer. Please join me in congratulating all of our graduates with your applause. At this point in the proceedings, I would like to call attention to the family and friends of our new graduates. We realize that Convocation is a very special day for you as well as for our graduates, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for all you have done to nurture these splendid men and women who have just become Dalhousie's newest graduates. I now ask the graduates and the platform party to rise. Graduates, your family and friends have done a splendid job at applauding you all afternoon. Now it's your turn to honor your family and friends with great cheers and applause. Thank you. Please be seated.
It's my pleasure to introduce your convocation speaker for this afternoon. Professor Michelle Williams is a senior instructor in the Schulich School of Law, where she teaches criminal law and African Nova Scotians in the law, and served as the director of the award-winning Indigenous Blacks and Mi'kmaq Initiative since 2004. Born and raised in Nova Scotia, Ms. Williams earned her Bachelor of Social Work from Dalhousie, her Bachelor of Laws from the University of Toronto, and her Master of Laws degree from New York University. Ms. Williams was recently named a notable Nova Scotian by the Times of African Nova Scotians, a celebration of our history, heritage, and culture. And she was selected by the students and alumni to receive the 2015-16 Dalhousie Law Alumni Association and Law Student Society Award for excellence in teaching, for her dedication to teaching and to our students. it's with great pleasure that I ask you to please welcome Miss Michelle Williams to address Convocation.
Bonjour, good afternoon, Madam Chancellor, President Florazone, faculty and other honored guests, staff, and most of all to the class of 2016 and your family, friends, and supporters. I have with me today one of my most treasured gifts, an eagle feather given to me by a Mi'kmaq student. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are on unceded Mi'kmaq territory. I'm honored to share a few thoughts with you today on three interrelated concepts: law, justice, and spirituality. First, law. You've learned a lot of it. You're ready to go do law to be lawyers. In so doing, I urge you to remember that law and justice are not the same thing. And I'm not here simply referring to justice in the criminal law sense, although that's part of it. Rather, I refer to justice in the broadest sense. In what ways is our society just or fair or unjust? Taking of Mi'kmaq land, enslaving of African Nova Scotians and other blacks, stealing Aboriginal children, segregating schools, restricting real estate to Jewish people, charging a head tax to Chinese immigrants, interning the Japanese in World War II, denying women the right to vote or own property, denying the legitimacy of same-sex relationships were all part of Canadian law at one time. It's too easy to think that injustice is about a thing of the past, something that we no longer need to worry about. But look around you. Indigenous children are denied equal access to service, Black youth are being pushed out of schools, Aboriginal, Black, Muslim, and Arab people are racially profiled and stereotyped, women and girls, especially Indigenous, racialized, immigrant, and disabled women, continue to suffer high rates of sexual violence. Boats of migrants are turned away at borders, and the earth itself is deteriorating under domestic and international laws that permit environmental degradation. Perhaps one of the greatest barriers to addressing the legitimacy of colonialism and slavery and other historical disadvantage in this country is the deep denial of our oppressive history itself and the corresponding entrenched myth of the true North, strong and free. It has not been free for all. So you are joining a privileged group that has the explicit obligation to shape law. So if law and justice are not necessarily the same thing, how do we bring them closer together? That brings me to my second point. When asked by his law clerk to describe his judicial philosophy, former US Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall replied, "You do what you think is right and let the law catch up." You see, Justice Marshall had been lead counsel in the Brown versus Board of Education case, which ended racial segregation in US schools, before he was appointed the first African-American US Supreme Court Justice. Here in Canada, one of my heroes is the late Dr. Carrie Best, an African Nova Scotian woman born in the town of New Glasgow in 1903. Most people have heard of Viola Desmond, another Black woman who was forcibly removed, jailed, and fined for sitting in the whites-only section of the Roseland Theatre in New Glasgow. But few people know that some 4 years before Viola Desmond and some 14 years before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery bus, several young Black high school girls were ejected from the same Roseland Theatre for sitting in the whites-only section. In solidarity, Carrie Best and her son took action. When writing to the theater owner did not work, they too defied the racist law and sat in the whites-only section. After being forcibly removed, Ms. Best and her son launched a civil lawsuit to protest their discriminatory treatment. The lawyers and the judge were Dow Law graduates. Dr. Best lost her case, like Viola Desmond did a few years later, and to magnify the indignity, Dr. Best was forced to pay the defendant's legal costs. What did she do in response to that injustice? She kept on fighting. She started her own newspaper to publicize racism and to raise money for the legal defense. She became a radio broadcaster calling attention to injustice experienced by Aboriginal peoples, and she never gave up. My late grandmother, Bernice Williams, was the founding secretary of the Nova Scotia Association for the Advancement of Colored People, as it was then called, or the NSAACP in 1944. She was friends with Ms. Desmond and Ms. Best, and she helped raise money for their legal fund. About a week ago, I came into possession of my grandmother's NSAACP minute book, which hadn't been seen for over 50 years. I brought it with me because along with the eagle feather, it symbolizes the shoulders we stand on. Someone else made a path that has allowed me to stand before you today. The people in your family and community have similarly made a path for you. In an entry written in the spring of 1948, almost 68 years ago today, and after the failure of the Roseland Theater cases, Dr. Best is reported as saying, quote, that she approached the manager of the Roseland Theater, Mr. Harry McNeil, who had himself been called the police on Viola Desmond. And Dr. Best reports that he would be opening, quote, a modern, up-to-date restaurant where colored will be served and well-treated. What is so remarkable about this record is Carrie's quest for justice. Even in the faces of losses, important court cases had such an enormous significance, she continued to reach out to the very person who caused her harm. She sought unflaggingly to make New Glasgow a better place for everyone. These women weren't lawyers. They, like the late Donald Marshall Jr., waited a long time for the law to catch up to justice. But they continued to believe that it would, and they worked hard and kept the vision front and center. The responsibility for change does not rest only with those of us who feel law's powerful exclusion. It resides, the Weldon spirit of unselfish public service, in each of you, in the class of 2016. Please continue to do what you can, standing where you do now, building on your own passion for law and on your compassion for others. As it is so easily said and so difficult to follow, to whom much is given, much is expected. In his speech Beyond Vietnam, Martin Luther King Jr. said, true compassion is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that an edifice which produces beggars needs restructuring. You might be thinking, well, how can I do that? Or that's for equity seekers, and I'm working on Bay Street, or just trying to pay off my student loans. Which brings me to my third point, and that is that spirituality, or more simply love, is the link between law and justice, and everyone can be involved in that quest. I think there's sometimes a chill on discussing spirituality or love and law together. So let me be clear that I'm not talking about the marriage of church and state, and I certainly recognize that injustices have been created in the name of organized religion. On the other hand, the zealous emphasis on rational legal reasoning in the absence of acknowledging the humanity and circumstances of people affected by our laws is problematic. I suggest that justice is love in action. Love for our family, friends, our community, our environment. I know that I'm at my best when I'm teaching from a place of love, trying to honor and encourage the gifts that each student brings to the study of law. My own spirituality happens to be grounded in a love of God, while others may observe different spiritual traditions. But we are all connected to something bigger than ourselves and to each other. So I would modify Justice Thurgood Marshall's words somewhat in the spirit of Dr. Carrie Best and all of our grandmothers and say, do what you love with love to help the law catch up to justice. Class of 2016, I and everyone here today am hopeful and heartened by your brilliance, tenacity, and generosity. In the words of Langston Hughes, you are the dream deferred. And so I will end in a somewhat unorthodox way for a commencement by offering one of my spiritual traditions, a prayer. Dear Lord and Creator, I ask you to bless the graduates and their loved ones who are with us, and to let us also remember those loved ones who are no longer with us. Help these graduates to remember their innate worth, and give them courage to let their light shine and to join in the journey to justice. Blessings, grace, and love to you. Amen and Walalan.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Graduates, you are now proud members of the Dalhousie alumni community. 130,000 plus, and by my count, plus 350 at this point in the day, with a strong network of 11 alumni chapters around the globe. So if you are in places like Vancouver, Calgary, or Toronto, or Hong Kong, reach out and stay engaged with Dalhousie. Ladies and gentlemen, the business of convocation is concluded. After the singing of O Canada, you are asked to remain standing until the academic procession has left the auditorium. Graduates, guests, faculty are all invited to a reception to be held in the sculpture court just outside the auditorium. Oops. I now invite everyone to stand and join Patrick Sims, a Dalhousie voice student, in the singing of our national anthem. Thank you.